So here we are, live. My voice is going to be totally cranky, but welcome. Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It all depends when you're watching this. I hope you're having a great day. I'm Chris Kilue, streaming from Querétaro in Mexico, central Mexico. So let me see if I can find my chat here on my videos. And meanwhile, I'm just standing up, showing you a little bit of what we'll do. Okay, if not, I'll go and find this, my other phone. Okay, here we are. I don't want to stop this until I get to see where I can see my part 2. Okay, so far so good. I'm trying to see if I have good lighting so you can get to see what I'm doing here. Go and see if I can find my own. Oh, there are people going live at this time. I never imagined that. But here you go. Well, part 1 just finished. And I'm going to use this phone as a reference, I think. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you how this looks so far. I was working with this one during Beth's stream. And I do hope you like it. Okay. So, I cannot find my own video here. I can just find my shorts. So let me double check if in my other account, I'll probably comment today with my other account and see if I can get my live going there. Yes. Okay. So very strange. I can see it from my other channel, but I can see it from my own channel. So let's see if I can fix that up. Okay. But meanwhile, you can see these and show you a close-up on how this texture looks. So there you are. So I hope you can find me, even if it's a little bit late. The other video just cut as it was just 47 minutes, barely 47 minutes. And we have a lot of things to do here. Okay, so I'm going to just put a message here to comment. So here you are, until I can find my other account. I don't know why I cannot find it on my own channel, but I have 2 phones here to play with, so I'll see if I can go and find my own. Okay, we have a lot of live videos coming, but mine is not coming. Very strange. Because supposedly, as soon as I hit transmission. It should be coming on. Okay, we have all the videos. We have the lives. I cannot get to see my own live. So I'm going to try and put the title. Okay. Wow, interesting. Why it doesn't come up? Just have one view. Oh, found it. There you go. I found it. So I'm settled down, ready to get you here. Okay. So it's very strange, really strange, that I couldn't find my own streaming. But here we are. So there you go. You'll be able to see the phone here on this side. Okay, so after this kind of a strange start, and it was good, so my boys could just get used to speaking a little bit, but still it's very early. Sun is coming out, which is really nice. And as I have this on the screen, I'll tell you why this was decided. Okay, well, as I mentioned in part 1, daylight savings time is not used in Mexico anymore because it was not really worth it. So right now, the sun comes out at around 6 a.m. So it's 6:06. So at 6 a.m. we had the first sunlight, and now we can do a lot of things really, really early, which is something that I really like. I like getting up early, not at 4 a.m. That would have been the case. So in order to do two things at the same time, I have decided to pre-record the part 1 of Breakfast with Chris, and that's going to be around 45 minutes, and then the other 45 minutes will be live. But anyway, as I am doing my other chores, getting the breakfast table ready, the food, etc., I'm listening to myself and I'm paying attention to the chat in case you have questions about the things I'm just dabbling around. And I can do two things at the same time. So it's multitasking. I cannot pronounce early in the morning. Okay. But anyway, that's the reason. So I can really have this hour and a half of streaming, which is something that I really like. So I was working with this texture during Beth's stream last night, and I started experimenting with the bats using acrylic. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not, but anyway, Kirby Rosales has got a lot of pages with bats, and I have 5 books by him. So I'm totally sure I can find another bat. But this was the experiment, and I will continue to work with this one. Now, I was working in the first part of the stream with a ship, and these ones in this book I made a flip through previous week. So let's put this one here. Let me stand up so I can see how this projects on my StreamYard account. So this is how it looks finished. So there you go. Pastel background, fine liners. These fine liners are a mix of Stabilo brand and this one. Somebody asked me what brand were these. So there you go. This is what we have. Okay. So comments here in case. There you are. Okay, so I hope you have activated notifications and you can see this. If not, this will be finished as a recorded video, and you can watch the replay later. So I'm struggling with this one because I got a plastic base here. So anyway, beautiful colors. I had forgotten I had this set, but they're really nice. Okay, there you go. So I'll probably be using this for some of the coloring I'm planning to do today. I'm going to continue with the gorilla. And this was finished with Inktense. These fine liners that I have just shown. My signature is here, quite small. Okay, so there you are. I might not be able to watch a lot of the streams today because I have a lot of things to evaluate. It was due date last night for some tasks that my students needed to submit. So I'll probably be watching replays as I normally do. Okay. So before moving to the gorilla, okay. Hi Clint, welcome. I'm going to give you some tips because I belong to 3 coloring communities on Facebook. And recently I have read that a lot of people have problems with their hands. And it really breaks my heart when I read that somebody says, I'm new to coloring. I just got a bunch of coloring books, and they show you the coloring material that they have, and they show you the beautiful sets. Some of them just go and buy not just the small sets, but the bigger sets of good material. And we're talking about Polychromos, Prismacolor, Derwent, you name it. And then 2 or 3 months after, I read comments that say, oh, my hands hurt so much. Now I have unbearable pain. I cannot continue with my hobby. And that really breaks my heart because it shouldn't happen. It should not happen. So for the people who don't know, I'm a graphic designer. I specialized in illustration. So I use watercolor, acrylics, gouache, graphite. And one of the first things my teachers shown us during these 4 years of training at university was to take care of our hands, because this is the tool that will take us during our professional careers. So during the major, they told us that we should get these stress balls. They're different ones. Some of them are very soft. Some others are very, very like hard. I suggest you go for something that is soft and exercise your hands. You don't have to give a lot of pressure. Just exercise your hands a little bit before you start coloring, before you start crocheting. This is also for crochet and knitting. And just exercise your hands a little bit. Warm them. Get them ready. You have very delicate muscles, nerves here. And if you damage this, it doesn't matter how many therapies you go under, they will not recover. This is fine motricity. This is something that as kids will learn to do. Okay, and we have to take care of it. And especially if you're going to dedicate hours to your hobbies, or in my case, to work this professionally, you have to be very careful. Another thing that is suggested to do is with the ones that are a little bit harder. Okay. Hi, Miriam. Welcome. Um, use the soft ones to warm your muscles. Use these ones to warm all your arm, all your muscles. So I'm going to move this just very briefly here. And this is what I show my students to do in my face-to-face classes when they come here to my house and have their classes. They just go and do very soft exercises to warm, to have this as a warm-up. One side and then the other side. And try to do this for 10 minutes. And it's very important to pay attention to your timing. Because remember what I said at the very beginning, if you were not here. You're going to invest money in colors, in coloring books, or if you're knitting, you're going to buy a lot of skeins, yarn, hooks, needles. And then the first time you start a hobby, either coloring or crocheting, you're just going to say, oh, I love this, and I'm going to be there hours. And that's one of the biggest mistakes. Please don't do it. Okay? Warm up your hands. Both hands are good, but especially the one that is your dominant hand. And this is good to do. Okay? If you're just going to color, it's not really necessary to do exercises like this. Let me just put away my material here. It's not really necessary, but it's good if if you draw, then it's a good idea that you do these exercises. Okay. Try not to do this when you are coloring big areas, because you're just working this part, and you're eventually, after 3 hours, of course, this is going to be sore. So for big areas, just try to have control of your pencil here. And when you color big areas, move all your arm. Do it with all your arm, not just your wrist. And in part one, you probably watched that I was using these pastels. And when I was using cotton, I was not just doing this. I was trying to use all my arm. I'm already used to that because I've been, I graduated, I'm trying to think, I graduated more than 25 years ago from university, and I've been coloring and drawing and illustrating for a long time. And of course, if I hadn't taken care of my working tool, that is my hand, I wouldn't be doing this right now. Okay, so that's right, Marty. It's very important to cool down. So when you finish, you always grab again your material and you cool down. Another thing that is good to do is these exercises. These are like spirals. Move all your arm. Try not to rest your hand on the surface. I'm just drawing on top of things that I have done before. because as I mentioned, these are the things that I tell my students. Okay, so you can do that, and you can do these other exercises. 1-2 pages, more than enough, and then you're ready. But, and this is the important thing, taking care of your hands, taking care of your color pencils, taking care of all that is not just while you're doing the activity. Do it also everywhere. Take care of your hands when you're, if you don't have a dishwasher and you have to wash the dishes, use rubber gloves to protect your hands from uh, temperature changes, especially when there's winter spring changes or um, fall winter changes. Take care of your hands, have them warm enough, and take breaks. That's the most important thing. Some of the comments that I have heard uh, in these forums on Facebook are related to, oh, I color for 6 or 8 hours a day and I just sit down and I'm there. And I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. Take breaks. For if you're newcomers, you probably don't know this. I don't like talking too much about this, but because it's something that I have already in a certain way overcome, and I don't like mentioning things that were really difficult in the past. But I suffered from retinal detachments in 1999 and 2000, so I had to undergo surgeries. Fortunately, my eyes are fine, but I still have to check every year. And my doctor's appointment is coming probably May or June, so normally when that happens, I start getting nervous. The doctors told me, whatever you do from now on, and I'm talking about year 2000, you have to do it in time slots. So that is, if I'm going to use my computer, I work 45 minutes in front of the screen and then I rest 15 minutes. And that's something that I still do all the time. And especially with coloring, and especially with these little details that I have here, because after the retinal detachment, I um, suffered from a cataract in the eye that was operated, that is the right one. So I'm using exactly the same advice. I color 45 minutes and then I stretch my hands, cool down, do something else. Uh, Things in the house, they never finish. You know, there's always washing and cleaning and laundry and things like that. So it's really, 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 really important to keep your hobby healthy. So do that, guys. If you're watching this during a replay, grab, they offer these things everywhere. So have them handy and use them. Really use them. So, as I was mentioning a little bit before, the gorilla in this case was the winner because I broke the tie. But anyway, the turtle next week. We're talking about bats in here. I have a page of bats that I can continue. Hi, Brenda. Welcome. Good morning. So I'm going to continue coloring this a little bit. I have already found my reference pics for coloring the gorilla, and I think the gorilla, technically, to make it stand out, I will have to use acrylics. I'll be using this brand that is very popular in Mexico. These are less than $1. I think they're like 80 cents or something like that. They're really nice. They're matte, and the black one is also from this brand.
and I just love it. I can use Prismacolor or any color pencil on top of that. And I'll have to do something with my pen here because one of my colors just broke awfully. And of course, there's no glue to help in this case. It's just water. But anyway, I'll keep it there. I don't have a magnifying glass, looking glass here, but normally I work with this one using a magnifying glass because this is just so tiny. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mentioned this in one of the streams. Um, Normally, artists like Kerber Rosanes and people who work in coloring books, they draw these things bigger, 25 to 30% bigger. And then when they are sent to the printing house, they are reduced. But anyway, it's fun to be working with mini details. I'm using Inktense here, the Inktense pens, because the pencils are just too thick to go in here. Definitely not. Not on this book. So I'm working with the vegetation here. Every time you work with Inktense and brushes with a water deposit like these ones, and I made a mistake here. I just pushed this one too much to get water, and that was not good. But anyway, that's why I'm cleaning this one quite often. I have to be here careful with the lines. The moment I finish, don't forget that Miriam is on. So I'll be probably finishing my breakfast preparation, Miriam, as you are on. So I probably won't be in the chat that much, but I will be there. And then after that, as I mentioned very early in the stream, I'll probably have to go out early because my dad, if he's got in a good mood today, he wants to go to Home Depot, his favorite store. Not mine, but his favorite store. But anyway, I found some material that I would like to get from Home Depot that's going to help me with my coloring and illustration. So I'm going to drive him to Home Depot probably. It's Sunday, so there shouldn't be that much traffic. And then you will be able to, well, we will be able to have lunch probably down there. And okay, thank you, Marty, for the link. So I'm just looking at these minor details here, trying to see where I can put the color. But anyway, but I think I like this book much better than the new one, the alien kind of stuff. I don't like aliens that much. I had a phase, yes, when I was a teenager that I was like really interested in UFOs and aliens, and I was really investigating and things like that. But now, not anymore. Not anymore. So I think that I would be very stressed spending 45 minutes painting an alien. And a lot of YouTubers are painting aliens. And this book came, I think, a year ago. So nobody's paying attention to this book anymore. So yeah, I'm not trendy, but what can we do? Okay, I'm going to be mixing this with a little bit of sherbet lemon and lemon just to get some colors in place. My two cats are here sleeping. They are like, oh, you're talking alone again. We go back to sleep. Okay. All right. I have one book by Bennett Klein, but I'm not sure if he's selling in Amazon, Brenda, or if he's using another site. I was in one of his coloring books groups or something like that. His daughter was also publishing similar material, because I think he had a book with his daughter, and I have got just one of his books, and I like them. I like coloring in gray. What I never liked was the paper. You know, I think the paper uh, for his prints was, for me, not good enough. And I definitely love his sketchbooks, but for a certain reason, I don't know, the books became very expensive for me on Amazon, and I said no, not anymore. So I stop buying the books because they were very expensive, because I didn't like the paper that much, and I just turned my preference into Kerby Rosanes. So that was the reality. And the first books, like Animorphia, and I have a lot of things here that you can watch in different streams that I have flipped through. They are nice, they're big, the lines are thicker, the black lines are thicker, but I didn't like that you had to complete pages, like the one of the bats that I was painting very early. I mean, I have the training to do it, but I'm lazy to do it. If I wanted, I could copy his style and complete those pages, but I'm just lazy. I don't want to do it. Maybe in the future I will, not right now. But definitely, I will continue working in the other books that I have. I'm not sure if I will finish a book completely. Yeah, because I get bored of just working the same book for a long time. And I don't have so many coloring books. I have around 25, early 27. Some of them are new. Some of them will be used with this technique, mixed media, just working and playing around. And some others will be used just with, oh, where's my wire thing? Okay, let me just stand up a little bit. Get this closer to me. Back here. And so I was mentioning some books will be mixed technique, some others will be just color pencil because of the paper, some others will use pastels, and I have one that has got a paper that I would like to experiment with oil pastels. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Marty. Okay. So, here it's very hot. Yesterday was very windy. I thought today was going to be cloudy because that normally happens here in Querétaro. When it's windy, the next day we have clouds. But luckily, no, it's blue sky again, very sunny. We are probably going to get to 85 or 86 Fahrenheit. That's going to be very hot. That's why I want to go to a Home Depot and my other chores early, because otherwise it's just impossible to be inside a car when it's 11 or midday here. It's just too hot. Even if you get the air conditioning in the car, it's just really, really crazy. Okay. All right, Marty. That's interesting. Well, pastels are interesting to use. If you have chalk pastels like this, they're very messy. So you need to have a lot of uh, towels or tissue to be cleaning your fingertips frequently. But if you have pencils that the pastel pencils that come like this, of course I don't have any. I like the messy stuff. But if you have them like this, they will be easier to use. The thing with pastels is that you will need a special fixative in spray. So it just doesn't smear around. That's my recommendation. But they are fun to use. I like them for backgrounds. Then use fixative on top, and then you can add another media. You can add uh, color pencils, oil pencils, wax pencils, whatever. Somewhere in my studio upstairs, because I have a bedroom studio. So normally what I do pre-recorded is there. But if I really want a consistent live stream, I have to come downstairs to my dad's office. The modem is here on behind me, there's one, and next to me there is another one. Now I have two internets. And it's much consistent, the streaming here. I don't get a lot of broken signal here. So Marty, if you have the fixative, that's what I'm going to go and buy for the ship, because the ship that I just finished, I don't have fixative. I just ran out of it. So next to Home Depot, there's an art store. That's going to be very dangerous for me to go. Don't let me lose in an art store, people. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. So I go and buy everything. Especially things, new things. If I want to experiment with something, I'll be there buying new stuff. My sister used to live very close to El Paso. So when she was there, she always called me like, I'm going to El Paso. Do you want something from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something like that? And I was like, no, please don't ask me. But yeah, I normally ask her to buy something from there. But anyway, it was fun. Then she moved here to Querétaro like 13 years ago, and no more trips to those art stores or warehouses, because she normally used um, art warehouses when I asked for material. And yeah, here I'm trying to convince my students, the ones that I have here every Wednesday, to go together to the art store, the only art store that we have in Querétaro, believe it or not, the only one, to go and get material. If we do that, they are going to spend a lot of money on my advice. Like, oh, this is good, you should try and get one to experiment. And of course, I will go and, well, buy things. this art store that is very close to Home Depot, it's an Office Max. It's small, so it doesn't have a lot of things, but it has the basic things that I need right now. The big art store, it's like 12 miles away from my house. So it really takes time to go, get there, find the material, pay, and it's still small for Querétaro. Like in Mexico City, there are tons of those, and many more, of course. And downtown Mexico City, very close to the main plaza that is Zócalo. There is another art store. That's my favorite one. They carry anything you can imagine, but they don't sell online, so that's really, really sad. But well, if one day I get to renew my visa to the USA, I'll probably just have a trip somewhere that you recommend, guys, that I can find art stores very close. And I don't know what I'm going to do because I also have a limit in customs to import. And what am I going to tell the agents? That all that material is for me? That is not for sale? Probably they won't believe me. So anyway, but before doing that, I have to use all the material that I have right now. And to be honest, I have a lot of material. So that trip is not in the near future. Plus, the visa thing here in Mexico is a nightmare. It's 4 years for you to get an appointment to renew your visa. So I don't think so. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 4 years. So anyway, one of my cousins is getting married next month in Spain. I'm not going to go because I'm working. He's getting married exactly the day I have my final exams here. So there's no way I can go. And I just discovered my passport expired as well. So it's going to be a mess trying to get that renewed. And to be honest, flying 12 hours to Spain just for a wedding, 1 or 2 days, is not worth it. It's not worth the ticket. It's not worth the money. You'll have to be there at least a week. So I cannot do it. I cannot do it because I have exams. But he and his wife is from Spain, will go and live in the area of Houston. So he kindly offered to lend me his address to have things sent, like mail or something like that. And then when he travels to Mexico, to San Luis is the state that is in the northern area of us. So it's like 2 hours away. He could drop by some of the things, right? Then, now it's tempting, It's very tempting. Okay. Yeah, Marty, it's unbelievable. They have all the appointments online, but if you want like a sooner date, there are people that call themselves agents, but they charge you money to get you a sooner appointment. You need to have your passport already renewed as well. And Querétaro kinds of how can I say that? They say that this is a very modern city with a lot of modern stuff, and all that you want is here. But in the end, this is what we call a big pueblo or a big town. So there's just one passport office here in Querétaro, and it's also crowded. You don't get appointments. So what I need to do is take a bus to the airport in Mexico City. They have an office there, and you can get your passport on the same day. It's going to be a big trip, of course, because it's 2 hours to drive, 2 hours and a half to drive to Mexico City, then 2 hours to wait for your passport, and then 2 hours coming back. So definitely it's going to be a journey for a weekend, maybe, that I don't really have to worry that much about coming back to school, but I know that passport is guaranteed. And then as soon as I have that done, I'll have to try to get the appointment at the American Embassy. So I will need to travel again to Mexico City to get the visa renewed. And right now the appointments are 4 years away from now, which is unbelievable. And then it's also a situation there, right? I might not be able to renew my visa that easily, because they give preferences. They have preferences for families. So if you're a single woman with no kids, you become a suspicious subject. You are single. You don't have any attachments or relationships here in Mexico. So you're prone to go as an illegal or stay there illegally. And of course, that's not my case. But you pay for the renewal, you're in front of the agent gets to see your background, your profile, who you are, that you have a job, that you have a stable job. Like in my case, I do have a stable job, and in most of the cases I normally get a letter from my job to prove that I have a stable job. I don't want to live in the USA. I'm just going there for a visit. I have heard of people, friends who are in the same situation as I am, single women with a stable job, but because they are single women and they don't have children and they don't have any other relationship or relatives or whatever you want to call it, they are not given the visa. I'm going to tell you this story, Marty, and you're going to tell me if this is not crazy. I have a friend with the same conditions. So the agent was, okay, well, I believe you. My friend is an English teacher. She said something in English to the agent in Mexico City. And because she spoke in English, and my friend has a beautiful accent, she sounds like British, she's just beautiful accent. She was cancelled. She was not given her renewal. I couldn't believe it. My friend's name is Claudia, and I was like, oh my God, are you really telling me this? Is this really true? And she was like, yes. And now I have to wait like 6 months more to get an appointment because this was pre-pandemic. So the appointments were not that hard to get. So she told me, now I have to wait 6 months to get a new appointment. And I was like, oh my God, this is just ridiculous. So she got her appointment because she was traveling to Indonesia and all those things. And she was going to be in transit through the USA. So that's why she needed a visa. 6 months after, she got a different agent. She didn't say anything in English. She spoke Spanish all the time. She got the visa. Believe it or not. Hello, Maxi. Thank you very much. I know that it was your birthday recently, so happy birthday. We April people are very special. My birthday is on April the 25th. So it's more or less in a week and a half. But anyway. So it's really, really sad, right, Marty? It's really sad. So that's one of the reasons I have not really been so brave to go and start all the requirements that the visa will need, because I'm like, what if I get somebody there who sees me and just because of my looks or my background, this person decides that you will not get a visa. And I haven't mentioned the best part. You pay for the visa, and it's like $100 more or less. And if you don't get it, you don't get a refund. So yeah, believe it or not, you don't get the renewal, you don't get a refund, you have to wait, and you are not guaranteed that the next time you'll get it again. Awful. Really awful. But that's a reality. But who knows? Who knows? When you have connections and other things, well, there you go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there are some things that I admire from the American system that is like, you really don't get these kind of nasty things that happen in other countries. But here, it's every day. If you don't have connections, if you don't have friends in power positions, it's very difficult for the normal person just to do something. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop here because in around 9 minutes, Miriam is going live. So I'm going to show you this as close as I can to the camera. And later on, we can gossip about Mexican and other legal systems or administrative systems here. So there you go. This is what I did. Not much. So off camera during the week or for the pre-recorded session that I will have before my lives every Sunday, you'll be able to see this area finished. This area finished. Probably I'll go and do a little bit of the mountains, but definitely I'll save the best, that is the gorilla, for the lives. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. See you at Miriam's stream. I'll be there, Miriam. I'll probably will not comment immediately as soon as you start, but I'll be there. I'll be there slicing and preparing my breakfast, my fruit and my cereal. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. See you in some minutes. Okay. So bye.